It's not pretty, but I've set up a little impromptu photo or like a staging area here. It's right in a walkway, so it's not going to be permanent, but I realized that I bought a while ago these lights, and it comes with like white backdrops and whatever else, so I figured out how to throw those together. I've got a little heater down here as well because it's getting pretty chilly. I've just put some white paper down for now as a background. I've got my scale because I'm working on medium-sized books. So to calculate shipping, then I need to know how much they weigh. And I'm just roughly estimating the measurements because I've gotten pretty good at guessing that. But I've got a ruler here as well, just in case. Because I'm dealing with books right now, I'm just watching this guy talk about what's it called? 2 hours of amazing rare books from this guy. He's got some really interesting things. A lot of them are rare because they're signed by Charles Dickens or George Washington or whatever, but it's, yeah, just trying to spend some time learning about what people think is interesting or collectible. And I thought this was a good area because it's by the window. It's kind of painted over the window, but at least the natural light can come through a little bit. But yeah, like I said, it's right in a walkway, so it won't be a permanent fixture. It is nice to have this flat desk area, which I might set up as a computer station, or I might just have it as a table for like a drop-in spot. These umbrellas came with there's some really tall white backdrops that maybe they're like 6 feet tall, and I might set that up as an area for like really large things. Like we've got a whole bunch of electronics that we need to list, and sometimes it's nice just to have a big white area to take photos. Finally, I've been waiting for something exciting to happen. Something very specific that happens with looking through books. I've seen other resellers find this before, but I've been making a pile here of like bookmarks that I've been finding. You know, people often use a receipt or just an old piece of paper or whatever, and people always say check the books and make sure, because people keep important things in books sometimes. And what did I find finally? Some money. It's my first time. I've been selling books for a long time, but it's the first time I found money in there. This is an old Canadian 20, but it's still good. I just saw this funny thing on this book here. One of the classics, Victor Lindlar's You Are What You Eat. But normally they put the Canadian price, and here they've just put slightly higher. So they would just, I guess, charge whatever the exchange rate of the day was. Oh yeah, it's probably $3.65 today. Well, it's a lot higher in Canada now. Not this book, it's not worth much, but I just mean the exchange rate is way different. So this is the book that I've been most excited about so far. You might think, that looks pretty boring. And you'd be right, it does look boring on the outside because the dust jacket is missing, unfortunately. But as the old saying goes, never judge a book by its cover. This one's called How to Live the Good Life by Commander Edward Whitehead.
Cairo, perhaps.
Guess again, Commander Whitehead.
London. It was London.
I'll give you a hint.
And I wish that it had its dust jacket, because I've seen some listings for this book for $500 and $600 US, which is crazy. Or maybe it was US dollars. Yeah, anyway, maybe it was Canadian dollars, but there's multiple listings for 300, 400, 500 in US dollars, and I guess that depends on the condition. Written in 1977. So what I've done, because the dust jacket is missing, then it's listed for lower, but I've put this one at 200 Canadian dollars plus shipping. Somebody said the other day, I've been researching about book collectors and booksellers, and someone was saying that they thought dust jackets make the book lose 80% of the value. So we'll see how this one goes. I take the same kind of pictures from different angles for every book, but because when I was listing this one last night, because I saw the high value, then I've brought it back out today to add more pictures to the listing. So obviously, the higher the price of a listing, the more effort we put into photos. And people reach out sometimes and say, oh, can I have pictures of page 10 of this comic and the middle and the back and the sides? And it's listed for like $6, you know. I don't mind taking pictures, but when it's a lower value item and it's in really nice condition, then you might only get 1 or 2 pictures out of us because it's not really worth the time to put more photos on there. If there is some damage, I do like particularly zoom in on stuff like this. But on most of our listings, if you see just one picture, it's because everything just looks like it's supposed to look on the other edges. Anyway, just thought I'd highlight that book. I'm sure most people have never heard of it before. I definitely hadn't. And they always, well, I shouldn't say always, but usually they do put the name on the actual book spine, just in case people lose the dust jacket. And I don't know if this is right, but I heard that maybe Tolkien even invented those dust jackets, because on the first edition of The Hobbit there was one, and he had designed that picture, I guess just to make the book look more interesting, but really those are designed to not last very long because they're just like a paper cover on the outside to catch people's eye. So if you do find an old book with a dust jacket in nice condition, then that can really increase the value.